Hello everybody, welcome back to the island. So today is removal of the jet ski day. So the last day on the water for the jet ski. So I thought it might be a good idea to add some stabilizer and get it out on the water, get it out for a little run to get some of the stabilizer through the complete fuel system so we're all good to go for the winter time. So today it was actually about 7 degrees Celsius out, so not very warm, but it was a beautiful day, as you can see, sunny, and the leaves are just, I'd say about 50%, maybe 60% color change. So it was pretty beautiful today. I'm bundled up and see me playing with the bow rope. Normally I wouldn't leave the bow rope on it when I go for a little burn, but I wanted to tie it off. I'm going to need it later when I actually put the boat up on the trailer. So I just wrapped it around the steering and tied it off loosely so it doesn't fall off and get sucked up in the jet pump. Not exactly what you need on your last Sea-Doo adventure of the year. So as you can see, yeah, some pretty maples in the background, and the water's nice and flat. Again, what you can't tell is how cold the air is, nor the fact that it's a bit windy out. The nice part is the water is quite warm at this time of the year still, so that's the good news. So right now I'm just warming it up a little bit, doing a little tooling around. It hasn't ran for, I want to say, 3 weeks maybe. So good idea to let the engine get up to temp before you get on it at all. And I have to apologize for the camera quality. I had to use one of the older cameras that I had with me, and first it's got a big old fisheye effect. That's not excellent. But second of all, it's 1080p, so it's not the normal 4K stuff that I could do. Anyways, I was a solo adventure. I just drove down the island and got it up to speed and played around a little tiny bit. So the deal is that it has to go home, and so currently obviously we're in Muskoka. It's gonna come back home where it's going to get serviced fully, fogged, shrink wrapped, and then stored. So we don't have to worry about anything getting in it. Keep it nice and dry for the winter time, and yeah, we'll be good to go. So obviously it was just a spectacular day. There's not a lot of boats up in the water. The only thing that people were doing were doing the exact same thing I was, retrieving the vessel, getting it out of the water for the year. Up in this part of the world, it gets pretty cold. I think it's not unheard of to hit minus 25 Celsius or colder in the wintertime. So obviously we can't leave anything in the water. This part of Lake Muskoka freezes up generally, but there's always a very strong current because there's a hydroelectric dam on the lake as well. So there's quite a bit of current. And right around our cottage proper, it doesn't freeze up completely. It leaves just a kind of dangerous ice conditions for sure. So no matter what, the ski lift has to come out. All the lifts have to come out. Mine and my nephews and whatever else might be in the water. And just in preparation for that ice that goes floating by when it breaks up. So a little bit of chop. Can't see the speedometer. It looks like I'm going near light speed, but in actuality I think I'm doing about 50 to 60 kilometers an hour here. And also this camera just picks up a lot of the wind noise, but can't help that. So if you have to have a final day on the water, you certainly want it to look like this. And it was pretty spectacular. I think I saw 2 other jet skis and a couple other boats. Like I said, doing the exact same thing. I'll be just preparing to haul them out. Normally on a day like today, if it was summertime, this little bay would be extremely busy. I think I got on a little more here, brought it up to 70 kilometers an hour. So this jet ski, it's a Yamaha VX Cruiser. I think it tops out around 50. odd miles an hour. It's not super fast by today's standards, but it's as fast as I want to go on the water on a vessel like this. Plus, it's just a heck of a lot of fun. Who's kidding here? I didn't get any water on me at all. I stayed completely dry, which is one of the benefits of this particular design of Yamaha watercraft. They have a nice hull. The hull design's pretty dry for the passenger or the driver. I mean, that's not always the case, but generally. And we're right down at the end of the island now. This is where our island connects to the mainland. There's a little bridge that goes across, train bridge. Not a car bridge. I wish we could drive on the island, but we cannot. And over on the upper left-hand side, you can just see a little boathouse and a dock. That is a cottage that we rented for, actually the family rented for many, many years before we purchased ours down the island a little bit. But it's a great spot too. Excellent spot to watch the boats go by. And we'll just fly back down the island here and maybe change up the camera angle a little bit so we can see kind of what's going beside us instead of just the water rushing at us. So if I haven't mentioned it before, this is a new to me ski. I bought it last fall, and this was our first full summer with it, and it was operating flawlessly. The only thing last weekend, last time I was up at the cottage a couple weekends ago, the battery was dead. So not shocking, it hadn't ran for approximately a month before that. So I pulled it out, gave it a bit of a charge, or gave it a charge. It's not something you want to have charged battery out in the water. So we charged it, and it was completely fine. So hopefully, I'll test it, I'll load test it and make sure it's good before I reuse it again next year. If in any kind of doubt at all, I'll just replace it. They're not significantly expensive, although this has the new battery technology. So they are a little more money, but they're definitely better. So it's probably about a mile-ish, mile and a half run down the side of the island. This is all on the right-hand side. That's all the island that we have our cottage on. And as you can see, Mother Nature's putting on its annual fall show for us. We haven't had a lot of super cool temperatures yet. Well, at least here at home. Maybe here in Muskoka, which is about 4.5 hours away from home. Maybe it has been significantly cooler at night, but that's what really brings on that color change. Oh, apparently the camera got one drop of water. There we go. Switch up the camera angle. Now we get to look at my wrist for half a mile. Yeah, all things considered, it wasn't that cold given the temperature outside. I had a rain jacket on with a hoodie underneath, but like I was wearing a pair of flip-flops and bare feet, so obviously it wasn't that bad. Of course, I had my life jacket on. That's kind of a given, or it certainly should be anyway. I may have at this point pulled up my hoodie over my head for a few seconds because going back up the island, the breeze was a bit stronger in my face. And there we go, cottage in sight. Starting to back it down a little bit and getting off it nice and slowly just so no waves came over the bow and got my little feet wet. So we will be up at the island next weekend for sure, just trying to finish up. We'll take the lifts out and do some other work that needs to get done. I'm not sure it's going to be fully closed up at that point, but depending on the weather, it probably won't get used as much. We're lucky we have a good source of heating, so it's not an issue to use it in cooler temps. But once our little bass boat's out of the water, it definitely becomes a little more of a pain. We leave the bass boat at the cottage all the time. So here we are, trying to get back in our little boat port, back on the lift. I have the remote control in my hand. I'm just getting it, lifting up the lift just a bit, just to get it positioned properly so I can get the ski back out of the water. Yeah, having the remote control on the lift is quite a game changer, actually. It makes life a lot easier. You can see the leaves already starting to fall in the water. Not sure why I backed out, but I probably didn't like the angle. And my nephew's boat's already gone, so his lift's got nothing on it. There we go. I like this one better. And you can just see in the background that large red gas can. I purchased that from Costco this year, hoping that it would make refilling the boat a lot easier. And it's been good. It's not perfect. Anyway, that's it. We faded to black because we were preparing to get out of there at this point.